Hello and welcome to the Lyman Wolf podcast. I am your host, Raceland, and I'm joined today by my co-host, Nate. What's going on, bud?
Not much. Just doing a podcast.
Just doing a podcast. That is definitely what we are doing. And today's podcast, we are talking about a topic a lot of nerds love, and that is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU. I know we are both huge fans of the MCU. You've been following Marvel probably longer than I have with the comics, right, Nate?
Probably.
I mean, yeah. I got into comic books because of you, and that started after the MCU. So if you've been reading comics before then, you're definitely a bigger fan.
Then yes.
Yeah. But on this episode, I want to talk about characters and teams that have not been announced in the MCU. So these are the people that we would like to see. This is our wish list of characters and teams that I think should get a shot in the MCU. Like, I know some of them have been announced or hinted at, but we're not here to talk about those. We're talking about these, like, long shots. The people that we think, that'll never happen, but it'd be great if it did.
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll just go ahead and dive into the list. You said you want me to go first and go ahead and knock out my first one?
Yes.
All right. So, my first one, I'm going to do the only team on my list. I'm going to just knock out the team really quick. Now, this team is going to be in the MCU. They've basically announced the team, sort of. I know it kind of contradicts literally what I just said, but nothing's been official yet, and that's the X-Men. I mean, have they officially said the X-Men is coming?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Other than the animated series is pretty much the only thing X-Men related I've heard.
The only thing I could think of is that they have confirmed that Deadpool 3 is happening and that Wolverine will be involved. But other than that, we don't know anything about X-Men.
It's true.
So for my list, for the X-Men on my team, we have no idea which version of the X-Men we're going to get. It could be characters from the Fox universe movies, or it could just be brand new casted characters. Like, do you think personally that they're going to bring anybody besides, obviously, Hugh Jackman? Do you think they're going to bring anybody from the Fox universe into the MCU, or do you think they're just going to start from scratch?
I honestly don't even think they're going to bring in Hugh Jackman to be a staple of the X-Men in the MCU. Because
I don't think he's going to be a staple either.
He's just going to come in as a one-off, and maybe they'll introduce other X-Men to be it. I don't think they will have other Fox characters, because the way I see it panning out is that Wolverine will be a part of the MCU simply to be like, who are these people, as he's talking about their version of the X-Men. He'll be like, what's going on?
If we're going to pull from the Fox universe and we're talking about Wolverine, I would love for them to pull Laura Kennedy, I think her name is, the cloned version of Logan from the movie Logan, when she was a little girl. Obviously, we could age her up now because it's been, 2017? It's been like 6 years. So we can have her be
Logan.
What's up?
Took place in like a future.
Yeah.
Also,
well, what I'm saying is, multiverse and time travel and stuff exists in the MCU. Yeah. So I would love to see a version of X-23 be the new Wolverine. I think that'd be a really cool way to transition a quote-unquote Wolverine into the MCU, especially with the Young Avengers thing that they're obviously building up.
Yeah.
But besides just Wolverine, I'm here to talk about just the X-Men. So, for the most part, I don't have any casting or anything for this. I just have, there's 5 main characters, obviously besides Wolverine, that I'd love to see in the MCU. And that is Cyclops, who is underrated, Iceman, Kitty Pryde, X-23, like I said, and Nightcrawler. Those are 5 of my favorite X-Men, and we've only seen little versions of them in the Fox stuff. Like, we saw Cyclops as a main character, Iceman is sort of a main character, and Kitty Pryde is kind of a background character. But other than that, X-23 is in one movie, and Nightcrawler had one movie. So, well, technically
Yeah.
two. He actually had two. But oh well.
Yeah, Nightcrawler also was an Age of Apocalypse, I think.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that movie existed. It's just so bad. You never saw it, did you?
No, not yet.
Because it's so bad, you didn't want to see it.
Oh no, it's just I just had no real interest
Well, it's all
in it.
Disney Plus now. You can check it out.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about knocking it out along with some others.
You gonna
On there.
check out Rise of the Phoenix or the Dark Phoenix or whatever it's called?
Maybe.
No, that movie's worse than Age of Apocalypse.
I mean, yeah,
Anyways,
we'll see.
so that's my team. That's the one team I got on my list. So go ahead and move on to your next thing, Nate.
All right, so I too did pick a team for
Okay.
my list, and they are the Agents of Atlas,
Agents of
or
that sounds familiar.
they're also known as the Atlas Foundation.
Oh, that sounds super familiar.
So the reason I picked them is because, originally was because one character is already in the MCU, and that is Jimmy Woo
That's
from
why.
Ant-Man.
That's why I know. Wait, Jimmy Woo was in Ant-Man? I thought Jimmy Woo was in what is it called? WandaVision.
WandaVision.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the agent guy, right?
Yes, he starts out in Ant-Man as the
He's
agent.
He's an Ant-Man. I don't even remember that.
He is the agent that is in charge of monitoring Scott's incarceration or home imprisonment.
I forgot about that part.
That was why, like, in WandaVision, when he did the little card trick with his business card, he was so proud of it because he learned it from Scott.
Oh, dude, it has been a long time since I saw the first Ant-Man. I totally forgot about that.
So that character is the reason I want the Agents of Atlas in here.
So who are the
There's-
agents of Atlas?
Well, that is another reason why I want them in here, because I don't know, honestly. I know
You picked
a
somebody you
little bit
don't
about
know.
them. Yes, I did. But that's so the way I see the MCU is it is a great medium to introduce characters that you otherwise wouldn't hear of.
Like
That is
Sorry.
that is exactly what happened for Agents of Atlas for me.
So,
I liked
yeah.
Jimmy Woo, looked him up to see if he's a comic book character, and found out he's the founder of a whole superhero team.
I mean, look at Guardians of the Galaxy. Who the hell knew who they were before the MCU? No one knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were.
I mean, people did. I did. But yeah, the wider audience didn't.
Yeah,
know.
the mass population barely knew who they existed.
But yeah, so me looking up Jimmy Woo is what introduced me to the Agents of Atlas. I have not looked into the organization itself. I've mainly just been seeing them in a couple of comics recently.
So, as Agents of Atlas, are they have like characters that have powers, or is it just like an agency, or what exactly are they?
It looks like they're basically kind of like Shield.
Okay,
but more of like if you combine Shield with the Avengers, which I guess is kind of what the Avengers started out as.
That is Shield.
Well, no, not like originally, yes, but they kind of branched out, became their own team. So like I said, Jimmy Woo is the reason.
Okay.
There's a new team in Agents of Atlas, apparently. Originally my plan was to cast the original creators of the team. But I found out when I was doing this list that we already have some other characters that are a part of Agents of Atlas.
Really?
Yeah, Shang-Chi is a member of Agents of Atlas, apparently.
He's kind of a major character in the MCU now.
Yeah. And also they introduced another character that was one of the founding members, Namora.
Namora?
She's Namora.
Namora.
She is the cousin of I'm blanking on his name now.
Namor?
Yes. Thank you. She is in apparently, spoilers ahead for anybody. She's in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
I mean, how? It's not really a spoiler. I mean, Namor's in the freaking trailer.
Well, Namor is, yes, but I didn't know Namor was going to be in it. I didn't know she was even in the MCU yet. I was looking for actresses to cast as her and found out that there's already an actress that's cast for her. She is in it already.
Did you ever see Black Panther 2?
I was actually planning on watching it this weekend with my family.
Ah, then I will refrain from my opinion of it.
So since two of the people I was going to cast in this list have already been casted, I'm left with four other people. The original founders were also Gorilla Man, think General Grodd, but soldier.
Okay, you mean General
Grodd? Gorilla Grodd.
Like you mix General Grievous and Gorilla Grodd together.
But I was thinking soldier, so I thought general, and then gorilla. Yeah. So Gorilla Man, I would want him to be voiced by either Chris Pine, who you might know as Captain James Kirk.
I know Chris Pine.
For our listeners,
dude, I'm looking forward to that Dungeons and
Dragons.
Yeah, it looks so good. All right, continue.
It does. Or Josh Duhamel, who you might know as Lieutenant Lennox from the Transformers movies.
I don't remember who that is.
He was like the main soldier in the first trilogy that kept helping out Wibiki.
The white guy?
Yes.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then we have Human Robot, or otherwise known as M11.
Okay.
I would want him voiced by either Simon Pegg, who anyone listening might know as Scotty from Star Trek, or Nicholas Angel from Hot Fuzz, or Josh Hartnett, who has been in several like kind of lower movies, but I know him mainly from Penny Dreadful. He played Ethan Chandler, the gun-toting werewolf.
All right.
Then we got Uranian, or Robert Grayson, who I would like to either be played by Josh Hutcherson, from like the Hunger Game movies, or Diego Boneta. You probably won't know this. He played Drew from Rock of Ages.
Oh, no idea.
Yeah, no. And then the last but not least, Venus.
Venus
who
Williams.
Is literally the goddess of love. It's Venus Aphrodite.
You're talking about the tennis player Venus Williams.
Yes, absolutely. That's who I want to cast her. Actually,
no.
No. So I only had one actress picked for her. Kate Beckinsale.
I know her from the underworld.
Yes, that is who I would want to play Venus.
Okay.
And that is the original Agents of Atlas. But like I said, they have already introduced some other members that are part of the Asian team.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, Shang-Chi and possibly Asmodeus Cho.
Oh, dude, I just read a comic with Asmodeus Cho. I like that guy. For those of you who don't know, he's an Asian Hulk. He's like the cool, like hip, like, hey guys, I'm the Hulk. I'm here to save the day. What's up, bruh? Like a surfer dude.
Awesome Hulk.
Yeah, he calls it the Awesome Hulk. I literally just read a comic with him. He's pretty awesome.
And then due to the Asian team, there are a lot more members, so I'm not going to list all of them.
Please don't. We do have a time limit.
Yeah, like I said, I pretty much just wanted to stick to the original founders, which was the 6 people.
Dude, I'd be super down to introduce Asmodeus Cho to the MCU. That'd be so sick. What if he became the new Hulk? Like Bruce Banner's obviously like retiring or whatever. There's She-Hulk, but like bring in Asmodeus Cho as the new Hulk.
So, minor spoilers for She-Hulk. I don't think as.
Oh, it's not like, gonna. I know what you're talking about. Like, we won't get into it. We won't get into the She-Hulk stuff, but like, I get that is probably not going to happen, but maybe like phase like 6 or something.
I could see it happening because there is like in Marvel a whole team of Hulks.
The multiverse is open. It could literally be like a Hulk universe that they open up.
Yeah. So I could easily see it happening. I'm just saying I don't think he would be the one replacing Bruce Banner, but he could be joining up with.
I see if Asmodeus Cho shows up in the MCU, I see it as a cameo. I don't see him being a member of anything.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right, cool. Well, that's a team I've literally never heard of besides like you've mentioned it. I think a couple of times. Like I think I've heard like, oh, Jimmy Woo, he was in the Atlas team, and that's about all I do.
Yeah, that is the reason I want them, is to spread awareness of them, to garner interest for a team that may not be well known.
Cool. All right, well, it brings me down to my next character. I only had 6, so I had my number 6 was my X-Men, so number 5 is my next character. So my number 5 is a character you probably know almost nothing about. I bet the listening audience knows almost nothing about. And that is the character Guillotine. Have you ever heard of Guillotine?
I mean, I probably have. I just don't remember it. So refresh me.
So talk about a long shot here. She is she's a character that is more of a recently made character. People probably know her from the online mobile game Marvel's Contest of Champion. It's a game that had its own comic run called Marvel Contest of Champion. She was the character in the... Did you ever play that game, the Marvel's Contest of Champions?
Yes.
Do you remember the character? She was pretty early unlocked character. She was like one of the characters they wanted to promote for this game. And it was the character, she had a red hood and like a red trench coat. She had a giant sword.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought she looked pretty bad.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for medieval.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I want her. So I'm gonna give a little backstory for you and the listeners here. A little backstory because I literally like looked into her and I read some of her comics before this list. Her name is, I'm gonna butcher this, Jeanne Sauvage. She's French, so I'm probably butchering the hell out of that. When she was 12 years old, she found a sword hidden in her house that was calling out to her. She accidentally cut herself, and the blood dripped onto the sword and cursed her to wield this bloodthirsty, sentient sword like her ancestors before her. The sword was actually evil, but she decided to use it for good and become a hero. It's a little quick story of who she is. So she grew up with this like evil sword that she's like, no, I'm going to make it my own power. Okay. And the main reason I want her to be brought into the MCU is I think she'd be a really cool looking character. She's a really badass looking character. She's got the hood, the medieval sword, which goes along with my whole like knight theme that I love so much with the Lime Knight and all that stuff. And she was one of my favorite characters used in the Contest of Champion game when I used to play it. So I just would love to see her get some recognition in the MCU. I think it'd be a really cool like Guardians of the Galaxy thing. Like people don't know who these guys are. Bring her in, she gets a big role. I think it'd be cool.
So as you were telling me her backstory of like getting a cursed sword and having to live with its bloodthirst and everything, it reminded me of a manga where the main character gets a cursed sword and has to live with its bloodthirst all the time.
Huh.
I'm like, this is very familiar. Okay, I've liked her aesthetic. She was one of the characters I used a lot when I played the game.
Right? That's the main reason I wanted her, because like I used her all the time in this game, and she's just so cool looking.
Yeah, I really, especially her sword. Like I said, I'm a big sucker for swords. And
me too, especially medieval.
Super badass.
Yeah, it's a sentient evil sword that tries to like convince, basically like Venom style, like tries to convince her to kill people all the time.
If I remember correctly, it looked like either a broadsword or a bastard sword with a giant red skull on the
something
hilt.
like that. Yeah. Basically, from what I understand, what I read about her is that like her sword, her ancestors used the sword all the time to like slay down like people and like basically pillage, and then it got hidden away, and then she got cut as a little kid, and then was like, I'm gonna harness this power, and it's like, no more evil, guys. Gonna be a hero. Hell yeah.
Okay.
So that'd be a cool little. I think she'd be. Would you? Do you think that a character like her could like hold her own for her own movie, or do you think she's more of a like a background, like she's part of a team kind of thing?
I would actually prefer her to be in a series.
Like a TV series.
Yeah, like the WandaVision kind of stuff. Mainly because recently the Marvel stuff, I've been more hyped with their shows.
Which is weird because from everything I've seen online, people are getting tired of the shows.
I know. That makes me sad because I really have been enjoying their shows. I think it fleshes out their characters a lot better.
I think one that really did justice was flushing out the character-wise was Moon Knight. I think him in a movie would not have done well versus the show that did well.
Yeah, Moon Knight is a perfect example because it gives them time to flesh out the character, keep things interesting, and you don't have to like get a massive information dump all at once like you would in a movie.
Yeah, because each episode is like an hour long, and if there's like 6 episodes, it's 6 hours of content getting a backstory of this character.
Yeah, and you don't have to wait years for that 6 hours. You can wait like
a week,
a season. Yeah. So I would prefer her to get a series simply because that is the format I currently enjoy the most at the moment.
It'd be kind of interesting to have like a French badass sword wielder in the MCU.
Yeah, I think she would be able to pull off a movie though.
I think, like I said, I think a series has definitely worked better. You're right.
With the introduction of I think his name's the Black Knight and Blade.
Yep.
It could definitely. I think she'd fit in with the next phase of heroes that are being introduced.
I think her and the Black Knight would definitely team up because I feel like they're kind of meant to team up. You know what I mean?
Well, I've never read any of her comics or anything like that.
Oh, I meant just because they're both knights, and you'd be like, "What kind of knight are you?"
Yeah, I know. I'm just like in my head, I'm like, yeah, they sound like a great duo, but in reality, they're probably like they fight all the time.
I don't know anything about Black Knight, so I can't really say.
I know a little bit, but I don't know enough.
Yeah.
He is a character I want to get into.
That's how I felt about Guillotine. Is like, she's just so cool in the game. I need to get into her, and it was just like, oh, she's only in one comic run. Oh, and it's the Marvel Contest of Champion comics.
Okay, that's why I haven't seen her in.
Right.
As a side character.
I think she may have shown up as like here and there as like a background character in like Avengers, issue 100 and whatever, and it was just like, oh look, there she is, kind of fighting in the background back there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my number 5. That's my pick for a brand new character. What about you, Nate? What's your next guy?
So my next guy is Jericho Drum, or otherwise known as Voodoo or Brother Voodoo.
When I hear the word Jericho, the first thing I think of is the DC character.
Oh.
Slade Wilson's son.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's also because I'm a huge Teen Titan fan. So
Jericho Drum is Sorcerer Supreme. He's a Sorcerer Supreme.
Really, I've never heard of this character.
Neither have I, or had I, until I was just kind of looking up characters I would like to get more recognition and see.
Did you real quick? Did you pick any characters you actually like, or is it just characters that you've never heard of? You're like, that would be cool.
There are 2 characters I picked that I like.
Okay. I was just like, I see a pattern, Nate. I see you in a pattern.
Yeah, most of them are characters that I would like to see get interest, because I'm getting interest in them from doing this list.
Okay.
So Dr. Voodoo is
what a badass name, really fast. Dr. Voodoo is a cool ass name.
Okay, just saying, I fucking love this guy's costume. He looks like a fucking voodoo Spawn from the Spawn series. And I love Spawn's outfit.
Definitely sounds like your style.
Yeah, he looks sick. He is apparently a man who, like, his family are voodoo witch doctors. They're a long
real
line
quick,
of
you talking about like the whole like voodoo dolls sticking the needles in kind of thing?
yeah, like magic. Just they're really into the magic world.
Gotcha.
And he rejected it completely.
Oh,
He's
okay.
like, I'm out.
Interesting.
I'm gonna go do my own thing. I believe he became a psychologist, actually, some kind of doctor. And then his brother ended up, I believe, getting killed. And he's like, okay, I'm in. Becomes a voodoo witch doctor and binds his soul to his brother. So he has his brother's soul with him, helping him.
This definitely sounds like a character they'd introduce in the next Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, like, especially considering this guy is supposed to be a Sorcerer Supreme. I would love to see his interaction with Doctor Strange or with Wu. Because
I tend to forget that Wu is the Sorcerer Supreme now.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is not.
It's so funny.
But yeah, he seems like a really cool character. I've been looking for his comics, actually trying to get into this because I really dig the character, the vibe. The actors I've picked I have 3 actors. The first one is David Bryan Woodside. You might know him as Amenadiel from Lucifer.
Oh, sick! Wait, okay, so I didn't ask. Is he African American?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I want to say that he's from South Africa. I'm not positive.
That's cool. I love that actor, so I would love to see him play this. That's cool.
And then
would he be able to pull it off though? Like you said that is his character more like a when you say voodoo guy, I'm thinking like dark and mysterious, like I get into the magic kind of thing, or is he more of like a friendly, outgoing guy? Like, hey guys, Sorcerer Supreme here, haha.
Looks wise. Because that's pretty, like I said, I haven't really been able to find his comics yet. I'm really wanting to get into them. So I don't really know how his interactions are with people.
Oh, okay.
Looks wise, though, very much the first part.
Okay, more of a
dark,
like a
mysterious,
dark, broody character.
Yeah, he looks just very edgelord.
I love edgelord's characters.
Yeah, he's got like the full skin tight black outfit with white trim in the middle.
Hell yeah.
Flowing through all out. A wide brimmed red cloak billowing out behind him.
Yeah.
Black hair with white streaks in it. Like, he looks sick.
Well, you said the guy who played in Lucifer. I can't picture him with hair.
Oh, yeah. So, well, first off, MCU, like, they can spin their own little way of making their
I know, it's
character.
just that specific guy. I just can't picture with hair.
I know. I just really like that actor and would like to see him get a bit more, really.
Yeah. So you said you had 2 more?
So, yeah. I have 2 actors. One is Aldous Hodge.
Aldous Hodge.
You might know him from Black Adam. He played Hawkman.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
Yeah. I, again, really like the actor. I've liked him since I've saw him in Leverage.
Did you ever end up seeing Black Adam?
Yes. I liked him as Hawkman, but also I thought that, I guess it's probably the script, really, because Hawkman himself wasn't very impressive.
Okay.
But I did like the actor playing Hawkman, and I thought he did a good job for what they gave him.
And you think he would do good as this Dr. Voodoo guy?
Yes.
Actually, what's his name again? Is it Dr. Voodoo?
Yes, so it's Jericho Drum is his name, and then he goes by Dr. Voodoo or Brother Voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Aldous Hodge is actually my main pick for this. I think he would be the best for this character.
Okay.
And then again, I don't know the interactions that he has with other characters, so I kind of wanted to go with actors who could pull off a serious character, or an actor who could play kind of a sarcastic and funny character. So my third pick would be Donald Glover.
Donald Glover. He definitely has a range.
He does. And I know he's been in the MCU before, but it was a side character. So
He was in the MCU?
Yes, he was in Spider-Man Homecoming, I think.
Who the hell did he play in Spider-Man Homecoming?
He was, if I remember correctly, I think he was the one that Peter Parker used his webbing to stick him to his car.
Oh, that guy is that scene was funny. I remember him. Wait, wasn't he the guy who's like, "Come on, man, I got ice cream in the car."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though he has played a minor role in the MCU, I don't think people would care if he came in to play a major role.
They're not risking it.
Yeah, you're right. What was I thinking? So that would be my fifth pick.
Okay.
Jericho Drum.
All right. That's an interesting pick. That is a character, like you said, I would be interested in learning more about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that moves on to my number 4. And my number 4, I think, actually has a pretty good shot of joining the MCU at some point. I think this character definitely deserves to be in the MCU because this character was teased already in the MCU. And that is Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
Beta Ray Bill was teased as a statue in Thor Ragnarok as one of the champions of that planet. So do you remember when Hulk got sent to the planet? They found Hulk on the planet, and Thor found Hulk on the planet, and he was a champion of that planet.
Yes.
And there was where he was staying was this giant tower that had faces of all the past champions of that planet. And Beta Ray Bill's face was on the side of the building.
Yes. I thought it was really cool and also very disappointing because I was really looking forward to seeing Beta Ray Bill.
Exactly. So that's why I picked him as one of my characters.
I gotta say, like, as much as I loved Thor Ragnarok, it is very disappointing for me that they incorporated World War Hulk storyline elements into that in a Thor movie.
I agree, because World War Hulk should definitely get its own movie or role or something, because World War Hulk is such a good comic run.
Not only that, but also Mark Ruffalo has not had a single Hulk standalone movie.
No, he hasn't.
And they incorporated one of the Hulk's better storylines for a Thor movie.
Yeah, which was disappointing as hell. But for Beta Ray Bill, so do you know the origin of Beta Ray Bill at all?
I could be mixing him up with another character, but didn't his race get annihilated or something, and he wanted revenge and becoming a gladiator and whatnot?
I don't know about that part. I was talking. The only part I really know is his connection to Thor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I think it was Thor lost the calling of Mjolnir.
Yeah.
And Beta Ray Bill took it because he was worthy. And then when Thor became worthy again, Beta Ray Bill gained his own Mjolnir.
Right. So what it is, from what I know, is that Thor Odin's son lost the worthiness because of something in the comics, and like you said, Beta Ray Bill was doing something. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read those, but he was doing something, and the hammer came to him, and was like, "You are worthy," and so he picked it up and he used it to defeat whatever foe he was fighting, and he was like, "I will take up the mantle as Thor." And at the end, when Thor got his worthiness back, Mjolnir went back to him, and they created Stormbreaker for him. So Beta Ray actually runs around with Stormbreaker.
All right. So I just read up a little. Apparently, during a battle, Beta Ray Bill knocked Thor away from Mjolnir, and out of curiosity, picked it up.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's cool.
That's just...
And they're like, "Oh, you're worthy."
Ultimate move of showmanship on his part.
Back away. I will take this.
Yeah, I am worthy. F you.
But no, but I was thinking for Beta Ray Bill's introduction, to the MCU. Like, I think Beta Ray Bill should start out as a little mini-series, little TV mini-series. And it should show the origin of how he became champion of the planet before he has any connection to Thor.
Now, would you want it animated or live action?
Either. I don't care. I would prefer live action because I want to see a live action Beta Ray in the MCU. So it would make more sense to have him have his little mini series and then show him joining in the movies later.
Okay.
But I would love to see him showing how, like you said, with the origin, we weren't sure about him, like his race and all that stuff. So have him have an origin of how he became a champion and got sent to that planet. And then, because we never saw Beta Ray in the Thor movie. So
no.
I would love to see later on, because Thor, I don't know, I could be off base here. It seems like, especially the actor, it seems like they're wanting to make Thor kind of go away. You know what I mean? Doesn't it kind of feel like that? Kind of like they're wanting him to retire. Like they're trying to get rid of all the old MCU main characters. They already did it with Captain America. They did it with Iron Man.
They do seem to be trying to usher in a new Avengers team.
So it would be cool to have that be the new Thor. So I know in the comics he gets Mjolnir from an unworthy Thor, like we discussed. But that kind of already happened in Thor: Love and Thunder with Jane Foster. Thor doesn't have Mjolnir. He's running around with Stormbreaker now. And Jane Foster got... Spoilers for Thor: Love and Thunder, but it's been like a couple of years, so that's your fault. Jane Foster became Mighty Thor, and she ran around with Mjolnir. So what I was thinking is instead of it being Mjolnir, it could be an origin story with Stormbreaker. So they could do the unworthy Odin's son, Thor losing his worthiness, and instead of it being Mjolnir, he gets Stormbreaker as his new, quote, Mjolnir for Beta Ray Bill.
Okay.
It could literally be the origin story of Beta Ray Bill just with Stormbreaker. So maybe instead, so you would just wield Stormbreaker as his beginning thing of like, Thor doesn't have worthiness. I pick up this Stormbreaker hammer, and I am worthy. He runs around as Thor for a little bit, and I was thinking,
I don't think that's how Stormbreaker works though, in the MCU at least. I don't know about in the comics.
I don't know much. I didn't read that many Thor comics, so I don't know how it works in the comics.
In the MCU, I'm pretty sure Stormbreaker doesn't have the worthiness requirement.
Really?
Yeah, because I think anybody can wield Stormbreaker because it's not a Odin powered weapon.
That's a bummer. That goes away. That literally ruins my entire plan of this character.
Well, I mean, you could be correct. Like, I could be wrong, first off. Also, like we've said before, the multiverse does exist.
That's true. You could pull it. I was just wondering. I really wanted this universe's Beta Ray Bill because they've already teased him. I want him to join the MCU.
To be fair, they teased him as a former champion, meaning he has either retired or sadly passed away.
I was hoping more along the lines of, like I said, get the origin story of how he became the champion, and then him just like on his own adventure doing stuff later, meets up with Thor.
That planet did not seem very legit to its champions. Like, it took care of Hulk as long as he stayed the champion, but I
don't know.
I don't think they would let their cash cow go, basically.
I don't know. Well, that kind of ruins my whole last bit I had here about Beta Ray. Was like, Thor could lose Stormbreaker for some reason, and Beta Ray could become worthy of Stormbreaker and use it. And at the end, they could either pass the torch of Stormbreaker to Beta Ray Bill, or just make a whole new hammer for Beta Ray Bill.
Well, the whole new hammer thing, I think, would work very well. Or, honestly, it could work that Thor gives Stormbreaker to Beta Ray Bill.
That's what I want.
Like you said, they do seem to have him kind of pulling back a little. I think last time we saw him, he was going around saving worlds with his adopted daughter, both of whom are wielding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir, respectively.
Yeah, so which was why I don't think that the Beta Ray Bill becoming the new Thor would happen, because it's obviously they want the daughter to become Thor.
Yeah, with Stormbreaker, I think it could work because if him and his daughter are going around saving worlds, and Beta Ray Bill's original thing is that he lost his world, perhaps they come across him on his quest for vengeance.
That could work.
And Thor's like, you know what? I'm going to focus on raising my daughter. You need this more than I do.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Or, like you said, there's always the multiverse, so it could literally just be a version of, oh, hey, look, it's the new Thor.
Everyone's like, what? Why does Thor have a horse head? Shut up.
When in doubt, always go to the multiverse.
Yes, the multiverse is the answer to everything.
So that's why number 4 is Beta Ray Bill. I think that, honestly, on my list, is the most plausible character.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I can see that. So,
what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a character that is kind of split. It's more focused on the actress.
Real quick. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
go ahead.
From here on out, I actually have actors for my list. It was just those first two. I didn't know much about the characters to actually have a casting for them.
That's fine. So this character is a character that is already in the movies.
Okay.
But technically not a part of the MCU.
What do you mean by in the movies?
Deadpool movies.
Okay. I mean, Deadpool's now owned by Disney, and it can been confirmed to come. So I feel like this character's probably going to be in the MCU.
Well, here's the thing. Because the character in the Deadpool movies, while possibly the same character, has not been verified to be the same character from the comics.
All right, who is it?
Vanessa, Deadpool's girlfriend. And,
okay.
In the comics...
Why her?
Well, hold on. Because I like her comic book version, and it is such a tragic story in the comics. As well as like I said, this is kind of a two-parter in that when I first watched the Deadpool movie, and then the second movie when she died, before like him going back in time and saving her kind of thing.
Yeah.
When she died in the second movie, I immediately was like, oh snap, this could be a great way to introduce Death. The character.
Lady Death is who you want.
Is one of the characters. Like I said, this is a two-parter. Lady Death, the actress, I think, could pull off Lady Death very well.
You talking about the actress who plays Vanessa?
Yes.
Okay.
Morena Baccarin. I probably butchered that name,
that's all right.
But I've liked her ever since she played in Firefly. She's a great actress. And I think she would be able to pull off Lady Death great, especially, like I said, this was before Wade saved her using time shenanigans.
Which is Deadpool's thing.
Yeah, means to possessing the body of Vanessa, Wade Wilson's lover.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Considering that in the comics, Deadpool and Lady Death are an item, like a relationship is there, but I don't think they're actually together.
Thanos comes back for his Lady Death.
Yeah. And also Deadpool, I think, also marries a demon queen at some point. It's a bunch of weird shenanigans.
It's Deadpool logic. It's fine.
Yeah. So that was my original thought. But then when Vanessa got saved, and if that plan doesn't pan out, her original character, Vanessa herself, is also possibly a comic book character. In the comics, Deadpool had a lover named Vanessa Carlysle. Vanessa Carlysle was a mutant, and with the introduction of X-Men and mutants, this is a great time to introduce her, because one of the questions might be that, well, wouldn't we know that Vanessa is a mutant, like she had powers because she's already been introduced and all this? here's the thing about Vanessa Carlysle's powers. She is a shapeshifter.
Oh.
And one of the most powerful shapeshifters. Because, like, Mystique can pretty much mimic anybody she wants. Vanessa can do that, but become anybody she wants. To the point where her power practically erases her own identity and replaces it with the person she's turning into.
Interesting.
There have been moments in the comics where she straight up doesn't even realize that she is her anymore. She is someone else. For the longest time, she played Vanessa Carlysle was Domino, who was also introduced in Deadpool 2.
Domino's a cool character.
Yeah. In the comics, that is Vanessa. The version of Domino that loves Deadpool, that is Vanessa, because in all of her iterations, Vanessa loves Deadpool. It's what she does. And also, not only does she, like, personality-wise become that character, if she copies a mutant, she copies their power.
Dang, that is an OP ability.
Yes. But again, she doesn't...
It has major double-edged sword here.
Yeah, she also doesn't, like, when she gains that power, it's not Vanessa gaining that power, it's just her becoming that person who has that power.
Okay.
So, yeah, that... I would love to see Vanessa Carlysle, especially if they decide to... I would like a happier ending, because, like I said, her ending is very melancholic. In the comics, she realizes that her and Deadpool can't be together, because every time they do get together, something horrible happens. So what she does is she kind of stalks him. She turns herself into a hot dog or a chimichanga vendor down the street from his apartment. And
oh my God.
every day she gets to see him and be close to him.
That's hilarious.
But they're never fully together because, you know, she's in love with him and he's in love with her. Like, he wants to be with her, but she realizes that whenever they're together, it's not a good pairing, apparently. Something bad happens.
That's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. And again, we already have an actress for this. She played Vanessa very well. If they do go the death route, the actress, I think, would do a great job as Lady Death. Yeah, I would just love to see that character get more recognition in the MCU. And why not?
Huh.
So that is that was mine.
Okay. So I guess we'll move on to my number 3 then.
Yes.
My number 3 is a character.
Yeah.
My number 3 is a character you should definitely expected to be on my list. He's a very popular character now, and it's just a matter of time before he joins the MCU. And that is Miles Morales.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I fully expect him to join up.
Oh, 100%. 100% they expect him to be. Now, the actor I have for Miles Morales here, look this up really quick while I say it. His name is Dallas Dupree Young. People might know him from Cobra Kai. He plays I forget his character's name in Cobra Kai, but he's the kid that Robbie trains in the Cobra Kai series to become a member of Cobra Kai and then takes it way too far. And the actor, his name is Dallas Dupree Young. The actor is now currently 17 years old. So in a few years, when they introduce Miles, he'd be perfect for the role. He'd be over 18, and he still looks young enough to be a teenager. So I think it would work out really well for him to play Miles Morales.
It says here he played Kenny Payne.
Kenny, that's his name. Yep, Kenny.
Cobra.
Yeah, he did a really good job as playing the, like, brutal, badass character in Cobra Kai, but he also was, like, you felt bad for the kid, so it's like, he has that good range of, like, I can be real badass and serious. If need to be, I can be a bully, or I can be a nice guy.
So here's a question. Do you want him to be... Basically, do you want him to be introduced with Tom Holland introducing him, or do you want
I'm about to get
Tom
into
Holland, that. Like, okay, all right,
okay.
Get into it.
So, The easiest way to handle Miles Morales is obviously pull him from the universe that he's from in the comics, because the multiverse is open. That's the easiest way to do it. Just be like, there's Miles, he's from another universe, blah, 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 blah. Or we could go the route that what you just explained, is that Miles Morales is introduced as a normal kid and gets bit by the spider and can be trained by Tom Holland Spider-Man. Now, I don't know what would be best. Having a fully trained Miles Morales from another universe, or having Tom Holland train him in like he does in the comics. Because I don't think Tom Holland is a good teacher Spider-Man. He's still known as the kid Spider-Man who was like getting away from Tony Stark's wing to be his own Spider-Man. That was the whole purpose of the last movie.
Especially with the latest iteration where he's literally on his own. He is finally once more going back to his roots as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Exactly. So I don't know, what would you say is a better version of Miles Morales to bring? Would it be the fully trained multiverse Spider-Man, or would it be the I just got bitten, I need a teacher Spider-Man?
So when you suggested this character, I immediately thought of this. I would really like it if Tom Holland and him teamed up and sort of learned about their powers, the full extent of their powers together.
I don't know, man, because at this point in the movies, Tom Holland has a handle on his stuff. He kind of knows what he's doing. So it wouldn't be him learning anything really new. It would just be him learning to be a leader, be himself, like be the hero he needs to be. He doesn't need to learn any more about his powers.
I feel like he's already. I do agree that he pretty much does have a handle on his powers, but also I feel like he does know how to be the leader he needs to be, considering he pretty much helped lead the rehabilitation of former villains.
Although, but he did everything in the last movie. He had to have the other two Spider-Mans helps for everything. So that's what I mean by he needs to learn to be on his own. He needs to learn how to handle himself and not have to rely on others. Because the first movie, he had to rely on Tony Stark. Then the second movie, he had to rely on Mephisto. Then the third movie, he had to rely on the other two Spider-Mans. This is the first time he'd had to be on his own and do his own stuff.
He needed their help in the final battle.
But
when it came to first capturing them,
he
pretty much did it by himself.
All I'm saying is that he always had that safety net. He doesn't have a safety net anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why with Miles Morales, he needs, if we're going to go with the I just get bit by a spider, I need a teacher, he needs someone who knows how to teach. He needs somebody who's mature, who knows what they're doing as Spider-Man. Like in the comic books, Peter Parker was like in his mid-30s when he trained Miles Morales.
What if we flipped it? And instead of Miles being the one that needs to be taught and everything, he's just a better Spider-Man.
No, I really want Dallas Dupree young as a young. I want kid Miles Morales.
I understand that. I'm saying he doesn't need to be taught though. Like he kind of like how they did with She-Hulk, and She-Hulk's kind of like that. This is not difficult, Bruce. I can do this already. He just comes to it naturally. Like he's instinctually he's
a Spider-Man
better.
Prodigy.
Yeah, like he's just like, man, it took you how many years to figure this out? And Peter's like, well, come on, like it's not exactly that way, but
I think the best way for me,
you get some pretty good humor out of that.
I think personally, what I would like to see what would work the best would be kind of like Miles Morales would be from another dimension. He'd be from another universe. And I think it would be kind of how we were introduced to Spider-Man in Civil War. He was like, I've been the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man for a couple months now. I kind of know what I'm doing with my powers. And I would love to see that. I would like to see a young, teenage Miles Morales who's been being a hero. He's been Spider-Man. He still's got his homemade suit and everything, kind of like we did with Civil War, and have him be Spider-Man for a few months now. He's got a sort of a handle on his powers, and then he meets up, gets like thrusted into our universe, or however that's going to happen in the MCU, and meets up with Peter Parker, and is like, kid, I literally just went through this last year with all of everything that happened. I just learned how to handle all this responsibility. I can kind of help you out here. And it's not like a wise mentors Peter Parker. It's more like we're going to figure this out together. Like, we're going to get a handle on both of our situations together. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
I think that would be the best way to handle Miles Morales.
Okay. It's an interesting look through it.
Yeah, that's what I want. It's kind of a combination of both Miles Moraleses.
Yeah. All right, I could see that.
So that's who I want, is Miles Morales. I feel like that is a very widely popular pick for people wanting to come to the MCU.
Yes. And also, at least for now, probably very unlikely.
Really?
Well, yeah. Sony and Disney have always had very tight like a tense relationship when it comes to the Spider-Man franchise.
Right.
And Miles Morales is kind of Sony's cash cow at the moment. They are. They literally just Spider-Verse movies.
They literally just made a Sony video game based on Miles Morales, and they're making a sequel with both Miles and Peter. They're not letting go of either one of their products.
They're like, we'll share Peter, but Miles is making us too much money at the moment. You can keep your claws off of him right now. So,
speaking
at
of
least
claws,
for a while, I don't think that is going to happen. But I do agree that it is probably widely popular.
Speaking of claws, the only Spider-Man I'd want more than Miles is 2099 Spider-Man, but that has way less of a chance than Miles ever will.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't even put him on my list. He's my favorite version of Spider-Man, but he's so unlikely that I don't even consider that a chance.
Okay.
But yeah, my number 3 is Miles Morales. What is your next pick?
Well, speaking of Spider-Man.
Okay. Well, you got a Spider-Man on your list?
A Spider-Man character, not a Spider-Man.
Boo.
This one is another one that I feel is very likely to happen, but has not been announced or anything, as far as I know, anyway.
I knew it. Green Goblin.
Yeah, exactly. Black Cat, Felicia Hardy.
Oh, that almost made my list, dude. I almost put her on my list.
So while I was looking for this list, I noticed that a very popular actress pick for Felicia Hardy is Anya Taylor-Joy.
Why do I know that name, Anya Taylor-Joy?
I think I've seen like one movie she's in. She was a good actress in it.
What's her name?
She's Anya Taylor-Joy.
Is Anya with an O?
A.
Anya Taylor. There she is. Okay, I've seen her.
Yeah. That is not my pick for this character.
She's in the Queen's Gambit. That's why I know her. She's the main character in the Queen's Gambit.
Okay. That is not my pick. That is just, from what I can tell, the most popular pick for this character.
And it's because of the popularity of Queen's Gambit. That's why.
Also, well, I would say she also looks-wise, she is pretty close to Felicia Hardy.
I agree with you.
Especially to the age of Tom Hardy.
I agree with you. I don't really think that's a good pick.
My pick, actually, is Catherine McNamara.
Catherine McNamara. What is she in?
Mia Smoke from Green Arrow.
Oh, the Oliver's daughter? Yeah. Oh, yes. Totally good pick. Much better pick. Much better pick.
I would want her to be Black Cat Felicia Hardy because personality-wise, I think she can pull off the sass of Black Cat.
Oh, yeah. She does that in Arrow very well.
Athleticism, again, she does very well in Green Arrow. Looks-wise, I think she'd be able to pull off. So, yeah, she would be my overall pick for Black Cat, Felicia Hardy.
How would you introduce her into the MCU?
Well, like we've just stated, Peter is now on his own. He's even left MJ.
Yeah, because MJ doesn't know who he is.
Exactly. So,
and I kind of like that. I know that's weird to say. I kind of like that they erased her memory, because I don't want them to be like, try to remember me, MJ. Like, I don't want any of that.
Well, I think that is what they're going to do.
I don't want that. I want him to go find his own, and I want Peter to have other love interests for a while.
All right, to go find his own. She is the one who loves him. He loved her, like that. That is his and her own. Also, I do agree that, at least for now, like, from a story standpoint, I think it would be good for them to add a bit of drama element of
add Felicia Hardy.
He's now by himself. He's actively avoiding his old relationships. So introducing Felicia Hardy would be the perfect time now to create that, like, oh, okay, they're good together. But then, like I said, eventually they're going to do Remember Me MJ kind of thing if they continue with the Tom Holland thing. So that I expect that,
and that's
drama.
Not like I don't want that. It's just like I thought you were trying to say that they shouldn't have Felicia Hardy be a love interest. I'm like, they should definitely have her added as a love interest.
I love Felicia Hardy as a love interest to Spider-Man. She brings out the wild side in him. And that I think that's just a great dynamic between the two. And in the comics, I like her better than Mary Jane. But I prefer Gwen Stacy overall.
Real quick, this little side tangent. I just thought of another character. You said add love interest drama. A character I almost put on my list. I didn't though. Who has been introduced to the MCU, but as a very side character, Cindy Moon as Silk. Cindy Moon is a love interest to Peter because she was bit by the same spider as Peter, so they have an attraction to one another, and that would be an interesting like love interest dynamic to add into the MCU as well.
So that was actually almost on my list.
I love the character Silk. Anybody who hasn't read those comics, read those comics. They're awesome.
My idea for her would have been to add her through the multiverse kind of thing, kind of like how the Spider-Verse did with Gwen Stacy and Miles.
Right.
But Silk with Peter. But I went with Black Cat because I like Black Cat better.
I like Silk better.
That could be because I'm also a simp for Catwoman, and Black Cat is a silver-haired Catwoman.
You and your weirdness, Nate.
I mean, what can I say? Felicia Hardy's amazing. But there is a second actress I would pick if Catherine McNamara doesn't go or they can't get her. Lily Reinhart. She plays Betty in the show Riverdale on CW.
I never saw that.
I don't do much of it, but what I have seen of her, I think she would do a pretty good job. Again, pretty much not really the athleticism. The episodes I saw today, she didn't really do like acrobatics or anything, but the sass and the character wise, I think she would be able to pull it off.
Okay, cool.
So that would be my third pick.
Cool. Black Cat is definitely a character that I think might get a shot at the MCU because she's so popular.
Like I said, especially with Peter being by himself now, this is the perfect time to do that. And she is a popular character, so... No,
this is the time when Peter Parker goes Spider-Man 3 and become all edgelord and dance on this.
This is when he goes old man Spider-Man and just runs around in his whitey tighties.
Or that is spider mask. Alright, so my number 2 is... You're expecting. Again, these are all the characters you're probably expecting to by now from me. And that is Ghost Rider.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Now, there are rumors that... So, they haven't confirmed Ghost Rider's coming to the MCU, but there are definitely rumors and hints that he's coming to the MCU. And one of the rumors is who is going to play Ghost Rider. And I'm talking about Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider.
Okay. I was about to ask which Ghost Rider you're
Johnny
talking
Blaze, and that I really hate this pick for Ghost Rider if this is accurate. The rumors are that Ryan Gosling would play Johnny Blaze. And I
mean,
don't like that at all.
I could see it.
Nah. I've got two characters, two people I would love to say. One of them is one that I want to play Ghost Rider, and the other one is an actor who has stated that he wants to play Ghost Rider in the MCU. So the one who I want to play Ghost Rider is Travis Flamel. You may know him. He plays in Vikings as Ragnar Lothbrok, and he also is the main character in the movie Warcraft. You might know him from that.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I think he would do a very good job as Ghost Rider. He has that, like, edgy, badass look. I mean, he plays the main character in Vikings, who was a badass, pillaging character. He I think he pulled off very well. And then go ahead.
While I do agree that he does pull off a badass character, I don't know how I would like to see him as Ghost Rider.
Okay.
Actually, he is who I would have picked for Craven.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because of the boastful badassness.
Can you at least admit that Travis Flamel would be a lot better pick than Ryan Gosling?
I don't agree with that, actually.
I don't like Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider. Anyways, so this one I think will fit better with you. A person who has stated in media that he wants to be Ghost Rider, and that is Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead. Daryl from The Walking Dead.
Okay.
He has said in interviews, guys, I would love to be Ghost Rider.
Well, yeah, because he's a biker character.
Yeah.
Like he almost every character he has played has been a biker in some way.
I think overall, I would like to just see Travis Flamel play Ghost Rider because I'd like to see him get more roles, and I think he would do a pretty good job. But I do think Norman Reedus would be a really good fit for Ghost Rider. Because, he's... Especially if you're going with the more current look of Ghost Rider. Because now in the comic books, Johnny Blaze, he's older now. Because there's newer Ghost Riders and stuff. So he's, in his, 50s. And he's got really long hair. And Norman Reedus has shown that he rocks long hair in Walking Dead and stuff. I think he'd pull off the look really well.
Okay. I understand that he would be the most popular one.
Definitely.
And I do, from a biker standpoint, I agree that he would be able to pull it off. It's just, I've never seen him pull off a character with the personality of Johnny Blaze. Not
only that, but you got to pull off the personality of Ghost Rider.
Exactly.
Because Ghost Rider is I will fuck you up. You will die to me if you don't, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's got very chaos energy.
Literally the spirit of vengeance.
I've never seen Norman Reedus pull that kind of acting off.
So then who would you pick as Johnny Blaze?
You don't like it, buddy.
Is it Ryan Gosling?
Because I feel like he has the acting chops to pull off seriousness, craziness, and just murderous.
When I see Ryan Gosling, I just think he's too much of a pretty boy.
Of course you do. But also, comic book character. Almost all of them are pretty boys and handsome fellas.
But this dude looks like he would play more like Superman.
No, not even close. He would be a horrible choice for Superman.
I don't know. He's got that scout.
Booster Gold, maybe.
He has that Boy Scout look, and I don't like that on him.
I mean, you can change that look easily.
I know. When I looked up what Ryan Gosling looked like, because I was like...
You probably saw his recent promotion, which is the Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just don't picture a rugged, badass Ghost Rider for Ryan Gosling.
That's the great thing about acting. You can have a range from Ken, the Barbie doll, and rugged-ass Ghost Rider.
All right. So, for Ghost Rider, I'd love to see him be one of the founding members of the Midnight Suns. Obviously, Blade is coming to the MCU, So I love to see him join Blade and founding the Midnight Suns and have them be a new team in the MCU.
Okay.
And I also have one little side tangent from Ghost Rider. Not only do I want Johnny Blaze to come in, I love to see Robbie Reyes come in because we've seen him in the MCU. I love to see Gabriel Luna come back from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They introduced him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and he did a fantastic job as Robbie Reyes. And then they just retconned all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I was so upset. So bring him back as Robbie Reyes.
So I am currently looking up a bunch of Ghost Riders just to see. And I would actually like to see Travis Fimmel be Danny Ketch.
Oh, that's a great pick as well. Danny Ketch is an interesting character as well, and he had a long run as Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I could see Travis Fimmel being that Ghost Rider.
Okay, just bring me a Ghost Rider. That's all I want. I want Ghost Rider. There's like 7 Ghost Riders. Give me a Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I'm looking at him like, wow, there's a lot more Ghost Riders than...
There's a female Ghost Rider. It's Alejandra or whatever her name is. I forget
think
her.
There's 2 female Ghost Riders.
Oh, I know Alejandra or Alexandria or whatever you say her name. There's her. She had like a sports bike, like a I forget what they're called, but yeah, like a sports bike version.
Yeah.
And then Robbie Reyes had
Alejandra Jones.
That's her name, Alejandra. She was an interesting character. Then we got, Robbie Reyes, who had his badass car. Again, just bring Gabriel Luna back from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He played the perfect Robbie Reyes. He had the look, he played the character, he played the badass. Bring him back.
Then Spirit Rider.
Yeah, the Wild West version.
Yeah, the Native American female.
Oh yeah, she was cool.
Ghost Rider.
But yeah, Ghost Rider is one of my favorite characters. I've been reading tons of comics recently. I've been reading lots of Robbie Reyes. I'm really loving Robbie Reyes' character in the comic books. And just give me Ghost Rider. Some form of Ghost Rider. And like I said, having him form the Midnight Suns, having a new team, that would be badass. Blade is coming. Blade is a founding member. So is Johnny Blaze.
What you need to do is just go all out and introduce the all-powerful Ghost Rider, the All-Rider.
Dude, what if they brought in Cosmic Ghost Rider, who is Frank Castle, who has become corrupted and gets the power of Ghost Rider. Speaking of which, did you see that, I forget the actor's name, but Frank Castle, the guy from The Punisher. Yeah, the guy from Punisher is coming to the MCU. I'm so excited.
Yes, you've mentioned it, and I was like, that's great. Still haven't seen those. And you and Ty were really upset with me.
Dude, I mentioned this in the text thread we had. I'm more excited that actor is coming back as Punisher than anything they've announced in the upcoming years of the MCU. Because I was like, I love the Punisher. He played the perfect Punisher. And then they were like, oh, you want Punisher? Here you go. It's like, yeah!
So, Ghost Rider, I agree. That is a good pick for bringing into the MCU.
I definitely think he's going to happen.
Numerous iterations they can draw from.
Which one would you want? Would you want Johnny Blaze?
Yeah, simply because I'm when something is introduced to something, I want the original first.
I mean, if you're going to go that route, the original one would be the Spirit Rider.
Okay, you know what I mean. Like the original one introduced, the original
No.
in time.
Nope. In comic books, Spirit Rider came out in 1967. Ghost Rider came out in the 70s.
Really?
Yep, Spirit Rider was introduced before Johnny Blaze. I'm almost positive.
Okay. Well, then I would be down for Spirit Rider.
No, we're gonna get
also,
the 10,000 BC mammoth riding spirit Ghost Rider.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I would also be really down for like if Marvel decided to do a cinematic universe set in the Western thing, like a series or something, just to
somehow bring in Jonah Hex.
Yeah, like I would love that because Jonah Hex I thought was a really good character.
Jonah Hex is DC, bro.
Jonah Hex is DC. I want him to come back into the cinematic universe for DC. They did a movie for him.
All right, we got to move on. We're done. We're done with this.
Getting tangent into another franchise.
All right, so that is my number 2. What is your number 2, Nate?
So my number 2 is Neho, or Alex Hayden, or otherwise known as Agent X.
Agent, you've mentioned him before. Who is that?
Agent X is a guy who is like a better gunman than Deadpool.
Okay. No, we need to bring Deadpool in from the Wolverine movie.
I mean, maybe with Agent X you might get that. Agent X is a combination of, I believe.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Was Agent X in the Wolverine movie? Wasn't he the guy hunting Wolverine and he got shot out of the helicopter? He had shades on. I think he was an Asian guy.
Then yeah, it probably was him.
I'm pretty sure they introduced Agent X in the Wolverine movie.
Which Wolverine movie?
The origin story Wolverine with the terrible Deadpool. Yes.
The one I despise, so that's probably why I don't remember it.
Yeah, I'm almost positive William Stryker had Agent X go after Wolverine. Wolverine literally knocked the helicopter out of the sky and the helicopter blew up and he died. He was like a very minor character, but that he was introduced in that movie.
Huh. I hated that movie so much that I completely blocked that out of my head.
So yeah, technically, I mean, Fox is now part of the MCU. Technically, Agent X exists, Nate. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean,
Just move on to your number 1 because this is already a bust. No, I'm just kidding.
We've already covered characters that have already existed in the franchise.
Just give you shit. All right, so explain Agent X.
So Agent X is, I want to say he is, the reason he's a better gunman than Deadpool is because he like gains the mind of both Taskmaster and Deadpool. So he like the Taskmaster skill of just constantly training and learning everything.
Real quick, sorry.
With go ahead.
Another little tangent. Was I the only one that was like super disappointed with Taskmaster in the MCU?
Yes. I didn't care.
Dude, I could not stand that. Anyways, continue.
Agent X, basically, he has like the quirkiness of Deadpool, but the skills of Taskmaster. And
okay.
Yeah, I just would love to see him in there because he has a lot of interactions with Deadpool, and since they're bringing Deadpool in, would love to see that.
Do you got a cast? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yes, I have 2 actors actually.
Okay, he is Asian, right? Is he in the comics? Is he an Asian guy?
Yes, he is Asian. He's bald with an X on his forehead.
Definitely wasn't like that in the Wolverine movie.
No, that might be why I didn't realize he was Agent X.
Well, actually, they called him Agent X.
Again, I blocked the movie out of my mind. I don't like that movie.
Come on, man, it's not that bad.
So the first actor is Louis Tan. People might know him from the newest Mortal Kombat movie as Cole Young, the original character they made for it.
It's on my watch list. Never saw it.
It's okay. Not great, but it's still good.
Okay, next actor.
And then the second actor, which is the one I would prefer to have, though I don't know how good he would look bald, is Henry Golding. He plays Snake Eyes. Henry Golding. He played Snake Eyes in the G.I. Joe movies.
Okay.
And in the Snake Eyes standalone, actually.
Talk about a movie you blocked out of your memory. I don't remember a single damn thing about those movies.
He's proven himself to have the skills of... I mean, Snake Eyes is basically... Like, Deadpool took Snake Eyes' whole thing. Like, that is... He was a ripoff of various characters, and his twin katana swords and his fighting style is Snake Eyes.
Okay.
So the fact... I think it would be really great to bring in the Snake Eyes to be the character who has Wade Wilson's abilities.
Okay.
Just kind of poetic in my mind. And that would be my number 2 is Agent X, because I really like the character. I don't see much of him, but when I do, I'm like, okay, this is cool.
All right, interesting.
So who would be your number 1?
Nate, you know me very well. Any hint of a guess of who it's going to be? It's like a character that I talk about all the time.
Honestly, I thought Miles was going to be your number 1.
Oh, wow. No. Yep. My number 1 is Agent Venom.
Okay.
Flash
honestly,
Thompson.
I never even considered him.
Now,
but okay.
So we have Flash Thompson in the MCU. I don't think that actor could pull it off at all. I think that would be a terrible actor to play Agent Venom. I think that we would have to pull Agent Venom from the multiverse. This would have to be a Venom that is already bonded and is well trained as Agent Venom. It's just a well-established character from another universe. There's no way this like rich boy loser kid in the Spider-Man Far From Home stuff could play this Flash Thompson. Absolutely not.
Other than the name and the bullying of Peter, did he have any qualities of Flash Thompson? Like, was he a star football player or anything like that?
No, I don't think so. I think he literally was just like, I'm the popular kid. Screw you, Peter. I love Spider-Man. That's about it. That's the only thing. Like,
and he was only popular because he was super fucking rich.
Yeah, and in the comics, Flash Thompson absolutely loves Spider-Man, and that was like the only connection they had.
Yeah.
So I think Agent Venom has to be pulled from another multiverse. Has to.
You know what? Screw it. Let this guy be Agent Venom.
No, because Flash Thompson, who is Agent Venom in the comic books, goes to war, gets both of his legs blown off, and has major PTSD. This kid is not going to survive that.
Hey, maybe this kid just graduated.
No.
So maybe he can now go to war.
Hell no.
Have PTSD, come back, bond with Venom, go and become part of the police force of the agency.
No.
And become Agent Venom.
Screw that. I do not want that kid to play. I have my own actor. I think it would be perfect as Agent Venom. He has the look. It would have to be an older Flash Thompson. He'd probably be in his like 30s. Okay. And have you ever heard of the actor Alan Rickson? Ritchson. Richson. He played Hawk in the TV show Titans. And Nate, you might know him as Young Scully from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that really short episode we had where they did the flashback.
Yes. I also know him from Reacher. He plays Jack Reacher in the
Okay. I think that actor would be perfect for Flash Thompson.
Okay. I definitely agree that he looks the part. Acting-wise, I think he could pull it off. So I do agree he would be a great Flash Thompson.
In the show Titans that you never saw, Nate, he plays Hawk. And Hawk is, in the Titan series, is like this super rugged, I don't take no shit from no one, I will beat up anybody who gets in my way character. And
Hawk and Dove.
Yeah, and he's also a drug addict, but, that's a thing. So he could play the I'm infected with bullshit trying to battle my demons just like he does in the comics with Venom.
So, okay. Here's how I see this playing out with you wanting this guy to be Agent Venom.
Okay.
Let him be Agent Venom.
Okay.
He's going to have a psychic break where he thinks he's Flash Thompson, but he's actually not.
No! No!
Let me finish. And that's how you get your Flash Thompson is Agent Venom kind of thing. They break his mind and make him think he's Flash Thompson. Kind of a Ben Reilly, Peter Parker situation.
Okay.
The real Flash Thompson becomes...
The pretty boy loser rich kid?
Yes. Becomes Agent Anti-Venom. So we introduce Anti-Venom as well into the MCU alongside your Flash Thompson, while also making sure the real Flash Thompson is Agent Venom.
I really just don't picture that Richie kid looking kid being able to pull off any form of Venom.
First off, do not underestimate the trainers at Marvel. The trainers at Marvel, well, actors, period. Actors will go to extreme lengths to make themselves look ripped as hell.
I'm not even talking about the ripped part. Like, I don't think he could play a badass. I don't. Even Anti-Venom, like, the guy who is Anti-Venom, he's still a badass. He just, like, wants to cure the world.
That's because you haven't... The actor has been playing a character that Marvel has written for him to be a flamboyant douchebag. They have not made him to be Flash Thompson, the war vet badass. You're seeing a high school bully.
I know.
Now we are out of high school. They are gone past high school. Give this actor the chance to prove he can be the badass Thompson expect from an actor.
All right, I'll give you that.
So I do, now that you have mentioned Alan Ritchson, I do think he would be a great Flash Thompson. That is why I am inserting this character to be a fake Flash Thompson.
Okay. So yeah, that's my number one. Nate, what is your number one pick?
All right, so my number one pick is kind of a joke, actually. Like, I would like to see... The casting is kind of a joke, not the character.
Okay.
I have a joke casting and a serious casting. So the character is actually... I would like to see him in there. His name is Gladiator, also known as Clark.
Clark?
Clark.
Clark. Okay.
Yes, Clark. Klark. And there is a reason why Clark sounds that way. So Gladiator is just one of many characters in the Marvel Universe that is basically Superman. Has very similar abilities as Superman. The thing I like about Gladiator is that Escanor from the Seven Deadly Sins, do you remember him?
Yep.
His personality reminds me of Gladiator's powers. Gladiator's powers are he gets stronger the more confidence he has in himself. So, like, who are you to say that is my limit is exactly something Gladiator should be saying, because he should believe it. He should not have a limit as long as his confidence allows him to think, you can't beat me. He is like the greatest warrior. I'm always afraid I'm going to say the name wrong, of the Shi'ar Empire. And it would be a great way to introduce more intergalactic battles with the Marvel cast and whatnot.
Okay.
The reason Clark sounds that way is because when they named him, they literally took Clark and Kal-El and combined them.
That's so stupid.
And made Clark. So, for my casting, the joke one is Henry Cavill.
That'd be so funny.
I would love for Henry Cavill to be like, fuck you, DC, and goes on to be Marvel Superman.
That'd be so funny.
Yes. First off, I think he would be amazing at it. Like, I think he would do a really good job. Even though... it would just be hilarious for him to do it. Like, it would be great. The serious one, and the one that I picked mainly because I want to see him kind of stretch his wings, sort of, because he plays more like romance, tough guy characters. Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son.
Okay.
Looks-wise, I think he could pull it off. I would love to see him have the chance to try to pull off the acting.
Okay.
And try to step out of his norm. So yeah, that is my number one pick, Gladiator, with joke, but kind of not joke, Dreamcast of Henry Cavill.
That would be the biggest slap in the face.
Exactly. Especially if it did well. Like, just imagine him going in there and Marvel being like, this has just broken box office records for the past 30 years. And DC's just crying. Like,
or it's just like, this is another Eternals.
No. See, if it was another Eternals, then it wouldn't be as funny. Because then DC'd be like, ha! We got that. That's why we got rid of him.
Didn't they just say they're making a sequel to Eternals?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Why? Nobody likes it. It's a terrible movie.
It's part of the MCU.
It's
garbage. Part of the story setup.
It's garbage.
They put a lot of money into it, so they're going to want to continue it regardless. And perhaps the second one will be better. Like honestly, Eternals wasn't bad if you break it up.
It's literally my least favorite MCU movie.
Mine too. But because of its slow pacing, and they took a series and put it into movie format. Had they done it in episodes and introduced the characters that way, rather than here's all the characters, here's what happened, here's what's going on, slow.
Anyways, so I think your number one is funny. I want to see Henry Cavill definitely play him because that's just so funny. And yeah, that's an interesting pick, Nate.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess that brings us to the end of the podcast. We did have one comment. We only had one comment, and it's from our Discord, which, again, links in the description for Discord, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find all of our stuff there. You can comment on anything you'd like to talk about in the podcast, and it is from our buddy Ty. He said, put Sauron the dinosaur guy in the MCU. I don't know who that is. I have no idea the connection to this. I didn't know why it was funny.
If I remember correctly, which I very well could not or very well might not, because it has been a very long time, like high school days, since I think I read this comic. Sauron is a scientist who becomes obsessed with the Savage Lands, turns himself into a pterodactyl-like being, and like has the ability to turn, or his whole dream is to basically turn everybody into dinosaur-like beings like himself. That is what he wants.
So he's a joke character.
The reason why Ty put this in there is a specific meme of Sauron saying, with the DNA we liberated from the grave desecration you call a museum, I have perfected the Sauronization process. You price paper puppets will be given forms befitting Earth's dominant species. Spider-Man, like, you can rewrite DNA on the fly. You're using it to turn people into dinosaurs. But with tech like that, you could cure cancer. Sauron. But I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs. Like, that is such a dick move right there. Like,
I can save the world, but screw the world.
I want you people to be dinosaurs. Like, so yeah, that. And he then does reply, he wants that specific scene recreated in the MCU. Not gonna lie, I kind of want it too. It would be hilarious. Tom Holland would be able to pull that humor off perfectly, I think. Like, the incredulous, like, what are you even thinking kind of moment would be funny.
All right, well, that is the only comment we got, so that is the end. Thank you guys for listening, and if you're on YouTube, thank you for watching. Like I said, all the links, if you ever want to put any comments about what we should talk about, it's in the link below, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. See you later.